Hey guys, it's Jason and James, and today we'll be showing you 7 different kinds of Chinese dumplings.来一个豆沙包，一个奶黄包。
好嘞。
然后
那个豆沙包好像没有了。
哦，是吗？哦，那就算了，那就一个奶黄包行了。然后4个鲜肉的。好了，谢谢。So to start us off here, we have the original baozi. Baozi just means bun, and according to legend, this was invented by military strategist Zhuge Liang during the Three Kingdoms period, which is like almost 2,000 years ago. So this is like the great-granddaddy of all Chinese buns. Yeast is mixed in with the flour, and then they're steamed, so the outside bun gets like this really soft and fluffy texture, and the inside is typically filled with pork or pork with vegetables. So this is like Chinese comfort food. There's really never a bad time to eat this. If anything proves the saying that you are what you eat, it's baozi, because if you eat too many of these, you start really looking like one. Another really common type of baozi are like dessert baozi, and they have sweet fillings. So if you weren't gonna get fat from eating the regular baozi, you'll get fat from eating these. Now we're at a jianbao restaurant. Jianbao has been a specialty of Shanghai since the 1900s, and it means pan-fried dumplings. A good jianbao is characterized by a crunchy bottom, a nice soft top, and a very juicy filling. The tops are sprayed with water while they're cooking it, so it could cook properly without them having to flip them over. And then they're placed upside down when they're served, so the bottom doesn't get soggy. Oh my God, did you get that? All that right there came from me biting it. Oh, 糖很多啊. And these are just filled with pork, which is the traditional way. The meat is so sweet. This is delicious.
I'm gonna dip mine in vinegar since you didn't.
Yeah.
I'm scared. Ooh, it's hot. How are you supposed to eat this? It's not even supposed to be a soup dumpling, but this one's so juicy, it's almost like a soup dumpling. Now we're going to eat some jiaozi, the original Chinese dumpling. Jiaozi are thought to be invented during the Eastern Han Dynasty by Zhang Zhongjing, a famous practitioner of Chinese medicine. According to legend, they were originally called jiao'er, or tender ears, because they were used to treat frostbitten ears. He boiled these dumplings and gave them to his patients with a medical broth until the coming of the Chinese New Year. In order to celebrate the New Year, as well as recovering from frostbite, people imitated Zhang's recipe to make jiao'er during the Chinese New Year. So the dumplings we have today are yellow koker and pork and chives. Fish dumplings are kind of a specialty here in Qingdao. Nothing like a homemade dumpling. Fresh out of the pot. The wrapper is stuffed really nicely, and it goes great with black vinegar.
And when I was a kid,
we ate this every year for Chinese New Year's. And what they would do back then was they put like a dollar coin inside certain dumplings. And if you were the one to eat the one with the dollar coins, you got to keep the dollar, and it meant you're gonna have like a lucky next year. But we stopped doing that because, you know, kind of disgusting to be putting coins in your mouth. Not only is it bad for your teeth,
there are lots of restaurants you can go to get some dumplings like this, but it never beats the homemade ones.
Next on our list is wonton, and today we're at our favorite local wonton restaurant just down the street. Jiaozi typically has a circular wrapper, whereas wonton wrappers are squared. So you can see the sharp edges of the wonton wrapper and you can tell that it's squared. The dough wrapper of wonton is relatively thin and becomes transparent after boiled. In Shanghai, wonton's dough is typically white and only made from flour, whereas Hong Kong style is yellow and can be made from a variety of things. Today's wonton is more like the Shanghai style. So wonton is typically characterized by its clear broth that you can add vinegar, peppers, and a variety of other things too, whereas jiaozi typically relies on a dipping sauce. So to my broth, I added a lot of vinegar, and I really like vinegar, extra vinegar. Some chili, some pickled vegetable, and more pepper. It's almost like eating a bowl of noodles because that wrapper really just falls off of the meat. So it's almost like you're eating a meatball and some like noodles attached to it. This style of dumpling is particularly good in the winter because you have this big bowl of soup and that really helps keep everything hot. And it's a great cure for hangover.
Next on our list is Tumbo. Tumbo means soup dumpling, but these aren't the ones that you've probably heard of before. Tumbo are typically fairly large and are more similar to traditional baozi, but the dough isn't risen, and these come from Kaifeng in Henan province, located in central China. Although the name Tumbo technically translates as soup buns, these are more like really big dumplings. So we got the beef tumbo, and this is the more traditional type of tumbo. And then we got one that's just a mixture of different kinds of seafood because, you know, we're in Qingdao, so we got to get something with seafood in it. Let's try the beef one first. Ooh. Look at how big this thing is. It doesn't even fit in my spoon. Maybe I should I'm gonna put it in my little bowl here. Good thing I used the bowl, because if I didn't, it would have spilled all over the place. Why would you ever make a dumpling without soup in there? This is so good. All right, this one here is, it's inside is squid, and they make the dough out of squid ink. The texture is so soft, it kind of just melts away in your mouth. Ooh.
And here we have the shrimp one, and that's a specialty of the restaurant we're at today. Ooh, it's dripping. Oh, well, it was drip. There it is. It's super juicy, very shrimpy, nice and light. I could probably eat like 10 of those, but they only gave us 2. Xiaolongbao are the soup dumplings that everybody's talking about. And today we're here at Din Tai Fung, the most popular soup dumpling restaurant in the world. The name xiaolongbao translates to small basket buns. This is because of the small bamboo baskets that the buns are steamed in. Shanghai claims rights to this style of dumpling, with origins dating back to the early 1800s. Pieces of gelatin, typically made from a pork bone broth, are put into the soup dumplings, and then when it's steamed, it melts into the soup, making for a unique experience. Okay la. So here we have the original soup dumpling with pork. You want to be careful not to break it, so I suggest getting your spoon really close. And here we have a mixture of 1 part soy sauce, 2 parts vinegar, and some ginger. I always break it open and kind of let that soup go into the spoon. And so now for the best part. The skin of the dumpling is so thin, soup is buttery, and the meat just falls in your mouth. And so it's not suggested to put the whole thing in your mouth. It can be dangerous, but...
Guess who's back? Stay.
Aside from pork soup dumplings, we also got crab roe soup dumplings, and these are really popular. Woohoo! I like to bite off the top instead of breaking off like the whole piece.
The pork dumplings are already so good, It's almost like having a fillet and then buttering it. It's like that roe is just adding umami to the already umami xiaolongbao. It's kind of one of those things that you can't explain, you just have to experience. So, go to your local Din Tai Fung.
Local Din Tai Fung in LA or New York.
Yep, local.
Or China. For our final dumpling, we're gonna eat some yuanxiao, also known as Tong Jian. The term yuanxiao came from northern China in the Ming Dynasty, named after the Lantern Festival. In southern China, however, they call it Tong Yuan because legend has it that there was a ruler named Yuan Shikai, and yuanxiao sounded exactly the same as the characters that mean to remove yuan, so he changed the name to Tong Yuan, which just means round balls in soup. The most common fillings for these are peanuts, sesame, or red bean paste. Today we're having some with sesame, and the outside of these are made from glutinous rice, so it's got that sticky and bouncy texture. This dessert is really nice on a cold day because of the hot soup, and it's good for people who don't have a sweet tooth because it's just mildly sweet. It takes a good minute to chew.
And that brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to comment down below and let us know which dumpling you liked. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you guys next time.